Hello, and welcome to CatavanCast, Van Life with a Cat. It's a show where we discuss our experiences travelling through the many countries of Europe in a camper van. I'm Ben.
I'm Frey. And Dara's actually asleep on the same chair she was as the last episode.
She is, yes. We're still in an Airbnb in Athens, hence the slight echoiness.
Yes, apologies for that.
There's not quite as many soft furnishings as we'd have hoped. We are recording a few podcasts here as we have the chance.
Yeah.
Facilities and time, really.
Mainly, yeah.
A bit of breathing, I suppose. And today we're going to be talking about Finland.
Yes.
Which was possibly the coldest, or one of the coldest places we stopped.
Maybe.
Certainly up there.
Yeah.
Because it was Finland at the end of October.
Yes.
Not the best time to go to Finland and sleep outside. But regardless of time of year you go, there are some rules, regulations you have to follow. And once again taken from the RAC website, which...
May not be accurate.
Yes, anyone who's listened to a few of these may know that these have been corrected by listeners in the past or are just outdated. So if these are wrong, please do get in touch and let us know. Key thing, foreigners or non-Finnish nationals must be 18 years old to drive in Finland.
Mm-hmm.
When you are driving your vehicle, you must have your driving license, your insurance green card, your passport and your vehicle registration documents, which if you're British is your V5, no idea what that is for anybody else.
Okay.
Right-hand drive vehicles must have headlight deflector stickers, mainly a problem for British people. Finland is, last time I checked, a Scandinavian country.
Yep.
Like all Scandinavian countries, you must have your headlights on at all times. No matter what time of day, no matter how blinded you are by the sun, you must have your headlights on. Warning triangles are compulsory in all vehicles, except for motorcycles. I suppose because they can tuck out of the way enough.
Yeah.
It seems a bit odd to not include motorcycles, but there you go. High-vis vests are not required in your vehicle.
Okay.
It's a bit of a not a loophole, but kind of a weird legal thing here. Now, obviously, if you're taking this trip, hopefully you've bought your European driver's pack.
Yeah.
Which is about £20 from Amazon or wherever, and that includes anything like warning triangles, high-vis vests, breathalyzers, anything you'll need for any European country. High-vis vests will be included in that. Now, drivers are not required to have high-vis vests in Finland. However, pedestrians are required to wear reflective clothing when out during the nighttime hours. It's worded. So as a driver, you don't have to have one, but if you have to get out of your car because you've broken down, as soon as you step out of your car, you're now a pedestrian.
Okay.
So you must be wearing a high-vis vest.
Would it not just be easier to say that everybody just has to have one in their car?
It would.
Because say you break down.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to get out of your car to put down the warning triangle that you're required to have.
Yeah.
And whilst you do that...
You're a pedestrian.
You're a pedestrian, so you've got to have a high vis on.
Yes.
So why not just make it easier and just say that just have one in your car?
Yeah. Why not indeed?
I like asking all these questions and pointing things out.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I don't know, like the Finnish legal system doesn't bother to explain that, so I'm going to say it exactly how they say it. Or maybe they do, maybe the RAC just wanted to word it really weirdly. Minimum protection for motorcyclists is a crash helmet, although the cold temperatures you're probably going to want to wrap up in lots of padding anyway. If you're towing a caravan or a trailer, you must have special mirrors fitted on your vehicle, so you can see around them. Speed limits, like with most European countries, again denoted by usually the name of the town or city. That means you're in a built-up area, and then a big cross at the other end means you're no longer in that area. So it's 50 kilometers an hour. Get with the metric system.
Yeah.
50 kilometers an hour in built-up areas. 80 or 100 kilometers on open roads. It varies depending on the road, and 120 on motorways. This all, of course, is unless otherwise stated. Interesting to note, police, you can get fines, but police are not allowed to take on-the-spot payments for fines.
Okay.
So you don't have to have cash on you just in case that happens. You'll be able to take it home and pay for it online, I assume. If you are parking overnight, your parking lights must be left on if the area is not properly illuminated. So if for some reason you wanted to leave your vehicle in the middle of the road, in the middle of nowhere overnight, you must leave your light on. Otherwise it's a hidden hazard. That's just what it says on the list. I'm just reading from that.
Okay. Alright. I have issues, but carry on.
What issues do you have with it?
Well, how are you supposed to leave your lights on without draining your battery unless you leave the engine running?
Hazard lights, maybe? I still drains your battery, but...
Exactly. So say, like you said, in your situation.
Yeah, but I think it's more like, because I mean, we slept in a national park car park.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
That's
There's no
okay.
risk of cars speeding by,
Yeah.
not seeing us and taking us out. But if you're parking on the side of a road in the middle of the night and it's not a normal stopping place, you should be leaving your lights on.
Okay.
If you're leaving it there all night, we'll get it off the road then. Like, otherwise, you're creating a hazard.
Okay.
So probably wouldn't come up, but worth noting, I think.
Yeah.
Because you really wanted to. Wheel clamps can and will be fitted to your vehicle after parking illegally for 2 days, or the wording of this seemed a bit unclear to me, or a maximum of 5 parking fines have remained unpaid. And it says a maximum of 5, so I imagine it means after 5 you will be clamped.
Yeah.
Whereas anywhere before that they may clamp you, and they may also tow your vehicle if they so wish. Finland uses the euro. Currently diesel is around €1.15 per litre.
Okay.
Fuel stations are frequent on the main roads and built up areas, but apparently we didn't go up there, apparently the northern regions, the more remote parts, it can be up to and over 100 kilometres between petrol stations.
Oh, okay.
And those are like hilly areas as well, so you're
Yeah.
going to be using more fuel, so be aware of that. And one big thing to be aware of, there are no LPG stations in Finland. Now we only need LPG for our cooker.
Yeah.
So we don't need much. Luckily we didn't need any while we were in Finland.
No.
We topped up, well we couldn't anyway because we'd had all our adapters stolen.
Yeah,
Luckily we had all our adapters stolen the day after we filled up the tank.
Yeah.
So we were okay and we weren't stopping in Finland long. But if you go there expecting to fill it, you can't. There's no plan around that. You cannot get LPG in Finland. It's just not possible. That is not the infrastructure there for you. So yeah, that's all the legal stuff. On to our little trip, which of course started on a boat.
I did.
We came from Stockholm. We took, I think it was Viking Line.
It was Viking Line.
Cruise ships. I think the end of the last episode we covered the trouble we had getting to the port.
Yeah.
With the lights being a British vehicle. Our lights weren't detected by the automated traffic light system.
Yeah.
And we got stuck on red for far too long. And it just was not clear where to drive to get to the Viking Line.
On top of that, it was still night time.
Because
it was like 5 in the morning, something like that.
I think it was a little after that. Well, according to our Google Maps timeline, it was about 6:30 we left
it was
the
still
car.
dark.
But it
was dark, it was raining.
It's before 7 in the morning in Scandinavia in October. It might as well be midnight. It was cold and it was raining.
Fun.
And we got on. The trip itself, we think it's about 11 or 12 hours.
Yeah.
The crossing.
About that much, yeah.
Now we've heard other people mention that they find it unusual when ferry lines don't allow you to stay in your motorhome. We found the exact opposite. We've not found any.
No. We have every single ferry that we've been on has explicitly said that you can't stay in your vehicle.
But you park your vehicle and then the parking area is forbidden for passengers.
Maybe they changed that a little bit more recently.
Maybe. I mean, how many cruises have we been? Cruises. How many ferries have we been on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, 5 now.
5. And not one of them have we been allowed. It's like you park up, you get your stuff you need, and you get out, and you are not allowed back there. This is a tricky one because it was so long. Obviously, you had to bring the cat with us, and then you've got to hope that she doesn't need the toilet or anything, because you can't just bring around a litter tray with us. And we had breakfast first thing, didn't we?
We did. It was a birthday treat for you.
Yes, because it was my birthday 2 days
after
that. I think that was very nice, but then we didn't realise, although we realised while we were in Stockholm, that the following week, so I think this was on the Saturday.
Yeah.
It was on the Saturday we got the ferry.
Yeah.
And that was the start of the half-term week.
Yeah.
So the ferry was, not at this point, but there was a lot of families with children.
Yeah.
And the kids were just running around while mum and dad just sort of sat in the corner rubbing their heads. Trying to chew them out. Which wasn't bad at first. We managed to find a nice quiet space. Because it was a huge ship, wasn't it?
It was,
huge cruise ship. There was upstairs, downstairs, there was bars, restaurants all over the place. There was a nightclub.
There was.
And so we managed to get sat up there for a while, which was nice and quiet. But then the ferry docked, and for the life of me, I've tried looking it up, I cannot find
it must be
the name of the place.
Maryham or Maryham.
Maryham, yeah, something. That's the best guess we have. It was about 2/3 of the way into the trip.
Yeah.
It pulled up, and then all the partiers got on.
Yeah.
And then the nightclub started, and now this little quiet area that we had to keep Dargo sort of calm and sleepy, it suddenly became full of boozers and nightclub music pounding, and we just couldn't find anywhere quiet to sit, really. We found some nice seats down looking out. Well, it would have been a really nice view if it wasn't pouring down in rain and really foggy. But then you're right next to the games arcade, which had an air hockey table, which are very loud. And you just hope...
It's so annoying when you're not in the mood for it.
Well, my worry as well, there were so many kids running, just clearly the parents had found a seat.
Yeah.
And were just like, just go, just entertain yourself. There's an arcade, go play down there. And you could see some of them sort of, I think they spotted Dargo. And you're sort of there like, don't come anywhere near this cat. Like, we can't. Dargo doesn't really like new people.
No. She doesn't like loudness.
Yeah.
And kids are inherently loud.
And grabby.
Yeah. And she's mostly okay. She's got a lot better now.
Yeah.
But again, if it's 1 or 2 kids, they come up to her and they're used to animals, so they, do the whole like, smell me first and then I'll pet you kind of a thing. But if kids aren't used to that, they'll just come up, they'll be loud in her face, and she gets uncomfortable.
Yes.
So.
But luckily we managed. I think there was free Wi-Fi on board, but it was pretty slow.
Yeah.
But we took our laptops on there, I think, to download. No, we didn't have our laptops. Of course not, because they've been stolen. No, we were going to Finland to get laptops. So we had our phones with us. We had chargers.
Yeah.
Just watching YouTube, downloading a few things while we could. Not the most pleasant of crossings, but I think that's just because of how long it was.
Yeah.
I think if we were to do that again, we'd probably spring for a cabin.
Yeah.
And we'd just go and have a sleep, and we guarantee got somewhere to sit down and just be quiet. And then I'm not 100% sure what time we landed in Finland, but I do know it was at Turku.
It would have been about 7 or 8 p.m.
Well, I say that only because the day we landed.
Oh, yes.
So Finland is 1 hour ahead of Sweden.
Yeah.
But then that day, the clocks went back. Which sounds simple. It's like, okay, you don't change your clocks then, that's the same. But then when you're not sure, you're actually there in it, you're like, wait, what? And you don't, is it Saturday? Not sure. And it's like...
Do I need to change the clock? Do I not? I don't know.
It just adds confusion. But then, because like our phones, most phones, as soon as you connect them to the internet, will update themselves.
Yeah.
And then you're like, but has this updated itself?
No, but
or
that was the thing, wasn't
it?
it? So my phone had updated, but yours hadn't.
Something like
yours
that,
had matched the Finland time, but it hadn't gone back an hour.
Oh, that's right.
So it was at a thing. So we're sat there like, how do we do this?
But no, just outside of Turku was, I think this is the first, we talked about one in Germany in a previous episode.
Yeah.
But that was after all this.
Yeah.
This is the first instance we stopped at a motorhome showroom called, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this, I'm sure, Neste Truck Carina.
Okay.
According to Google anyway. It's a big motorhome showroom, and they have motorhome parking out the back, which is very, just for people spending the night. They do have facilities, like fresh water, water dumping, they have showers and toilets, but they're only for club members.
Yeah.
And how do you join this club? Oh, it's very easy to join the club. Buy a motorhome from them, and then you get a card, which means you can go back there and use their toilet. I think that might be part of some larger scheme.
Yeah, no.
So maybe they're a franchise or something.
That's fine. That's not what that face was for.
Oh.
What I was saying was, it's interesting knowing now that there's no LPG available in Finland.
When they sell motorhomes.
But there's still motorhome places, and as you say, like maybe there's a network of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, maybe they all just work off propane.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or
maybe they sell the dual things, so they sell them with LPG.
Yeah.
Things, but because they may be independent. Who knows? Anyway.
Who knows? If somebody knows, let us know.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
You can't go to a petrol station
No.
and find an LPG pump in Finland.
Exactly.
They just don't exist. So from there, after quite a, not the most scenic night's sleep.
No.
You're just on an industrial estate, but still very thankful that the facilities were there.
Exactly.
You just had that long border crossing, you just need somewhere quiet to sleep. We then headed off in the direction of Helsinki, because the day after, so we landed on the Saturday, or the Friday.
Must have been a Saturday because the clock's changed.
Yeah. So anyway, we were heading towards Helsinki because we had an Airbnb booked with some friends of ours that were flying over.
Yeah.
And they were bringing all replacement stuff for what we had stolen.
Yes, which was very lucky.
Yes, that was already arranged to happen.
Yeah.
And they were just like, well, we're coming over anyway. And they very graciously offered to bring a big luggage bag full of stuff that we needed. So we were very grateful for that. So we were heading towards Helsinki for that, and we essentially, once we eventually figured out what time it was, we did a quick shopping in a Lidl.
Oh yes.
I think that's how we figured out what time it was. There was a clock in there.
Yeah.
And we started heading over there, and we stopped at Fisker's village.
We did, on the way, yes.
Which, did you know about that, or was it something we just looked up?
I think Tani told me about it.
Tani being one of the friends who was coming out to visit us.
That we were meeting. So I think she told me about it, and I looked it up, and we were quite close by it, or it was on the way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Fisker's, it's an old village which was built around an ironworks. Now I couldn't find any information on the Wikipedia page as to when the village started sprouting up, but the ironworks was built in 1649.
So it'd probably be soon after that.
Yeah, it would be soon after that. Yeah, and it was very. I remember we got there. You had the interactive maps on big information boards, sort of dotted around, and there were walking routes you could take.
Yeah.
And all the older buildings had information boards outside them, and it's like they've very much kept the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Even down to the phone boxes.
Yes. Yeah.
And there were old water mills there. Now the water mills weren't in use, if I recall.
I think not all of them were,
no.
But that's what created the village/town of Fiskars, really.
Yeah.
Was the fact that there was running water.
Yes.
Through there.
And they could build mills.
Exactly.
So it really was one of those stories, wasn't it? Like, a place of work was built.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is in the middle of nowhere, let's build some houses.
Yeah.
It's, well, now they're having kids, they need a school.
Yeah.
They need a shop. They need a church. Now we need a fire station and all that.
Yeah.
And now it's all, they do still produce, because let me get my thoughts in order before I start speaking. And the ironworks used to make like scissors, nails.
I think they still do, because Fiskars is a big name.
Yeah. But
a prestigious name.
But a lot of the buildings are now occupied by like independent, I want to say artisans, craft people.
Yeah.
Like it's like a real life Etsy shop.
Yeah.
If I really want to patronise it. I don't mean to sound patronising, but...
Of course not.
But yeah, and there was a couple of cafes and pubs there, as I recall.
It was a beautiful town from what I remember. It would be amazing to see it in summer.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got there, our bodies still didn't quite know what time it was.
No.
We got there and it was starting to get dark.
It was snowing.
Not
properly.
It was mainly rain.
Not properly. It was mainly rain, but I remember being sat in the van just as we were about to get out and being like, it's starting to snow, Ben.
But it didn't snow.
No.
It didn't properly snow. It was quite a miserable day, really.
Yeah.
But we still had a good walk. We did the whole walking route.
Mm-hmm.
The nice bit which takes you down the river.
Yeah.
Into the town centre, which is really old. So they've kept the aesthetic down brilliantly.
Yeah.
And of course, with it being cold and dark and wet, there was no one else there.
Exactly.
So again, we had the place all to ourselves, which is very nice. And then from there, we went to the national park. I can get the name of the national park on here. The Nuuksio National Park, which was again a bit closer to Helsinki. But we didn't want to get too close to Helsinki because our Airbnb was outside of it.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. But the Nuuksio National Park, there was a car park right out in the middle of it, just surrounded by pine trees, and it's just pitch black.
Yeah.
There is no noise out there. It's a car park where people can. There's lots of hiking and nature trails start from there.
Yeah.
So we've gone there, spent a very quiet night. I believe there was even a trickling brook.
Oh, there was. Yes, there was.
We could hear but not see.
Yeah.
Which also sounds like when you're sort of a bit, are we allowed to park here at night? There were no signs forbidding parking.
Yeah. We
didn't really think we were breaking any rules. But sometimes, at just the right volume, a trickling brook can sound like rolling tyres. Is that someone else? No, there's no one outside. On the way up, we had driven past the Finnish Nature Centre. Yes, the Finnish Nature Centre.
Yeah.
Which we thought, we'll visit that. Because the following day we were due to check into our Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't until mid-afternoon.
No.
So we had some time to kill.
Yeah.
We thought, we'll go to the Finnish Nature Centre. I don't think it was that expensive either.
No. And they promised
Mooses.
Meese.
Which I'm sure would have been brilliant, but it was closed because that following day was Monday and Europe closes on Monday. So, fortunately, that didn't happen.
No.
So what we did instead, just finding things to do. Oh yes, we knew where the Airbnb was, and we also found a nearby vet.
Yes, we needed the vet.
Yes, why did we need a vet?
Because that was one of the things that we were unsure about before leaving the UK, as to whether or not we needed a specific test done for Russia. And before crossing into Russia, we needed a document saying that everything was okay and that Dargo was okay to travel.
Yes.
And that had to be within 5 days.
Yes.
Of said travel.
Yeah.
So basically found a vet.
Yep.
Luckily, it was a vet very close to where we were stopping for the Airbnb as well.
Yes.
And they were open, and we just kind of turned up.
Just a walk-in appointment, wasn't it?
Yeah, we just turned up. We were just like, this is the situation. They're just like, we've got time for you now. If that's okay, sweet.
Yeah. Oh yes, I think it was it Finland or Estonia? I can't remember. I can't think it was Finland, where it's luckily everybody speaks English.
Yeah.
And I believe it's Finland where it's almost a disgrace if you can't speak English. Saying it now, I think that was Estonia.
No, that's Estonia.
Oh, it's Estonia, okay.
That's
but everybody
Estonia.
speaks English in Finland anyway.
They do.
Because we had absolutely no problems there, luckily. And yeah, the guy got us in.
Yeah, did it
He
straight
saw
away.
us straight away. There was some confusion though, because that day was the day that Brexit was originally supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And he mentioned it. We were like, oh.
Like,
yeah.
is that happening?
Oh
Has
no.
that happened?
Yeah, and we looked it up. We were like, oh god, yeah, what if all the rules have changed? Oh, they've delayed it. Oh, okay, fine. Right, good. So that was lucky. But he was talking to him. That was the first time we'd heard mention that it would actually be more difficult to get Dargo back into the EU than it would to get her into Russia.
Yeah.
Because Russians to an extent, don't really care.
I don't think most people care. I think the EU cares more than everybody else does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which then had us a little bit worried.
Mm-hmm.
But as it,
But we were like, it's fine. Everything's in order.
Yes.
Everything's good.
We have
got our stuff exactly. We were prepared for it, so.
And we knew, I think at that point, it would be, so we had 5 days since getting that stamp for it to still be valid, and I think we were going to go to Russia like 3 days later.
Yeah, it was 3 or 4 days later, so we were okay.
So that was all good and sorted.
Yes.
One less thing to worry about. But we still had some time to kill. So then we headed to a lake, which again, may pronounce this right, although there was an umlaut somewhere. Vitrask Lake?
Okay.
Vitrask Lake, not sure. Which we had a bit of a walk around. But there was like a footpath which looked like, it was a parking space.
Yeah.
Parking spaces. And then a footpath sort of leading round.
Yeah.
And then it very quickly just ends in a lot
of
trees. And then there's lots of, it's like a small boat graveyard in amongst the trees. And then you're like, okay. So we ended up going up the hill and found another footpath.
Yeah.
Which then led us back down to the roads where we'd been.
Yeah.
Just a nice walk.
It was.
It was again good. Nice and quiet, middle of nowhere, so far away from any roads. But we still had time to kill. Mm-hmm. So then we ended up going to Espoo.
We did, to the cathedral, yes.
Yes. I remember that cathedral was the first cathedral we'd seen, which looked so different. It didn't look like, it just looked like a cross between a barn and like a Viking mead hall or something.
How many Viking mead halls have you been to?
Okay, a stereotypical fantasy mead hall then. Well, you know, it looks so significant. Like you wouldn't have thought it was a cathedral, and it wasn't even because most cathedrals are in city centres, and this was just because Espoo, it must be a city because it has a cathedral, but there were just a couple of houses nearby.
I don't think it's in the middle of the city. No, I think it's a little bit removed from that. But yeah, massive graveyard around it though.
Yes, unfortunately we couldn't get into the cathedral. It was closed.
Yeah.
But yes, we had a good look around the graveyard, very well kept graveyard. Some fantastical designs on some of the graves. I think some of them were all, there were walls of graves as I remember.
Yeah.
Built up in blocks.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether that was like cremation and they just put the ashes in there or...
Probably, or it's just a memorial thing rather than having a grave, so they've like cremated the individual, but... Yeah, but that's also where we found out about conflict. There was that big memorial, and
we had looked up the name for this.
Yeah, we had to look it up.
Yeah, the dates were 1939 to 1944 or 43,
something like that.
Yeah, and we think, well, that's shorter than.
Yeah, that's slightly
World
different.
War II. What's this? Because they don't really refer to it as World War II in Finland. They had their own thing with Russia.
Yeah.
Which we had no knowledge about. I mean, you know, as recent events have shown, British public are not even taught their own history properly.
Nope.
And we know nothing about anybody else's. Obviously didn't learn too much from it though, because I can't remember it now.
I think, roughly, I might be completely wrong, so I apologise if I offend anybody. I think it was something like, so the Finnish were on one side to start off with, and I think that was the German side, and then Germany basically said, like, we don't care about you, you're going over that way, and was going to give Finland to the Russians, or territory of Finland to the Russians.
Yes.
And then Finland was like, no. Like, that's not going to happen, and then ended up fighting the Russians and the Germans.
Okay. I honestly can't remember any.
Obviously, with Finland bordering Russia, they've had issues for yonks.
Yonks is a considerable measure of time for any international listeners.
I thought that was implied.
That's quite a Brummy term as well, yonks.
Yonks?
Isn't it?
No.
It sounds quite Brummy.
No. If it was Brummy, it'd be something like yunks.
Yunks. You can't make fun of them, I can, I'm from there. That's how it works, right?
Yes. Okay. But yes, so
anyway,
that's what we learned about that.
Yes. Correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, feel free.
So then we went to the Airbnb, which was just outside, like you say, just past the vets. we went to, just outside the town. It was a town or village or settlement of Kirkkonummi.
Yes.
And it was just some guy's pad, like man cave, wasn't it really?
Yeah, it was. So the family, it was a detached house where the family lived on top.
Yeah.
And the basement, really, kind of, was just...
It had been converted into its own accommodation.
Yeah.
There was showers, they were building a sauna, but it wasn't finished yet.
Yeah.
It had showers, it did have a kitchen, but there was no hob, was there? There was just an electric hot plate or something to cook on, which was
great fun.
Great. And the bed we had wasn't a proper bed, it was a big inflatable bed, which, it was, the main thing really was we were out of the van.
In the cold.
We were inside a place with heated floors, as I remember.
Yeah.
Which was good because when we left we had frozen water pipes. But we'll come to that. So we were stopping in there for 2 nights. They were stopping there for?
I think so.
Yeah. And we were allowed to get in there early, even though our friends who were coming had booked it. They let the guy know that we were coming sooner, so we turned up, he let us in. They turned up. And that was kind of like, well, I was going to say kind of like Christmas, but as soon as the following day was my birthday, it was like an early birthday present. Because they came in with all the stuff that we had stolen, just replacement things. Yeah. So we had our new laptops, we had battery packs, we had adapter plugs, we had whatever else we needed.
I got my camera.
You
finally got
your camera.
I finally got my camera.
Yeah, do you want to quickly...
Yeah, so just before leaving, I bought a proper camera to take pictures with and such like. But it didn't arrive in time. We missed it by a couple of hours or something, or the delivery was messing us around. And then it was with your parents for a while.
Yeah, because it was to be sent to my parents' address.
Yeah.
And we went round there that month, said, it will be delivered before 12 o'clock or whatever. So we went to this is on the day we were leaving.
Yeah.
So we went to my parents' house, and we stayed there a lot later than we really wanted to. And it never turned up. And then as we were driving down the road to leave, we saw a van coming up. Turns out that wasn't even it anyway.
No.
And then I think it was the next day it turned up, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But, yeah, so it was with your parents, and then we got them to send it to Tani and Pete, who were coming out. And then they brought it to Finland. So the first month or so of the trip, I didn't have a proper camera.
Yeah.
And it was kind of sad.
Yeah. It's such a good camera as well.
It's a very good camera.
Excellent camera. The zoom on it still amazes me to this day. It means you can read information boards on closed archaeological sites.
Exactly.
Poking it through the fence and zooming in. Yes. So the following day was my birthday. Hooray for me.
Yes.
And I wanted to do something Viking-y. I just wanted to go to somewhere to a museum where there's Vikings.
Yeah.
So we went to the National Museum. Yes, the National Museum of Finland. Of course, we had to get into Helsinki first. And Kirkkonummi did have a metro station, which is on part of the whole metro network to get to in and around Helsinki. So only when we got there to buy tickets that we learned that you have to pay. You can get day tickets, which cover all public transport in the Helsinki area. But the cost of them depends how many zones you wanted to travel through. And we were so far out of Helsinki, we would have had to travel through all 4 zones.
Yeah.
Now the zones, it's not like in London, where the city of London, well, sorry, not the city of London, like Greater London is like 5 or 6 zones. Like Helsinki itself, the entire city is 1 zone.
Yeah.
And then the suburbs are another zone, and then you're in different counties, I imagine.
Yeah.
But they're still classed as Helsinki zones. So we did have to drive a bit down the road to...
Kilo?
Yes, metro station, I assume the town as well, called Kilo. And that's in zone B, Helsinki being zone A. That's the cheapest ticket you can get.
Yeah.
That was €8 each, but that covers you, I assume it's a day ticket. It's for one day, so I assume that's 24 hours.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But that does cover you for, ferries, trams, trains, buses, whatever you want, which isn't so bad. That's quite a good rate. And we went in, and the National Museum of Finland was only about a 5-minute walk from the train station.
Yeah, it's not very far at all, is it?
No. It's also €12 each, out of interest. That's for a full adult ticket. It was a big place.
It was enormous.
It was huge. So that just goes in. We kind of did it out of time order. Well, they're like these. You go in the lobby and there's the woman at the front I remember was very helpful. She's like, there's this. You can go and see this or that, and it just all spider webs out from the centre. But if we'd have started from the start, it goes back to the Ice Age.
Yeah.
In Finland, so it's as far back as they physically can go with artifacts.
Yeah.
Right the way up to the modern day. No Viking stuff though, unfortunately. No. I don't think there's much Viking stuff in Finland.
Finland?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more of a Norwegian, Swedish.
Oh, okay.
Sort of thing. I don't think they're too keen on their Viking history.
Oh, right.
I remember reading about it at the time. Not in the museum though. I can't remember what it is. It's just there's a reason why they don't celebrate their Viking heritage as much, or they don't really talk about it much. But it's still a very interesting thing. The whole Scandinavian involvement in World War II was quite eye-opening, like we said about that thing. But that's not just for Finland. That's Scandinavia
as a whole.
They kind of had their own things going on. I don't think Norway got involved. But that's for a historical podcast we may start one day, where we just guess about things. Well, I think this happened.
We just pick countries in the order that we visited them and try and explain their history.
But one thing I did like, I remember, because Finland, and even Barack Obama acknowledged this in one of his speeches, is statistically the most metal country on the planet. Because there are
Barack Obama saying that.
He did. It was on the thing. It was like he made reference to their heavy metal heritage.
Yeah. That man just gets cooler every time he speaks.
Because Finland has the most metal bands per capita. Than any other country. And they just had a corridor with headphones that were just playing songs from various bands on loop. And I remember we went through and I was like, this sounds good, all right. And writing down the bands and we'll download these later, we'll check them out. But it was a good museum. It was for €12.
Yeah, it was
which
decent,
you think that's the more pricey end of museum entry cost. But you certainly got your money's worth in there.
Yeah, definitely.
It covered any part of Finnish history you wanted, it was there. And then we wandered out. I mean, we had our laptops with us because we wanted to find somewhere. There was no Wi-Fi in the Airbnb.
No, which was annoying.
So we thought we'll take our laptops with us because we needed to download. I needed my video editing software to make videos, and just a few other bits and pieces like that.
Yeah.
We resorted to a McDonald's.
We did.
But because it was October, there was another reason for this. Because I'm still relatively new to the whole coffee thing. It started off as a necessity a couple of years ago, and now it's like, okay, I quite enjoy this. Let's see what there is. And neither of us had ever had a pumpkin spice latte, had we?
No, because we're not. I believe the word is basic.
Yes. That's not a slur, that's just what I've heard. So we went to McDonald's, we had one, it was actually quite nice.
Yeah? It was okay.
We didn't have any food though, because you were making me fajitas that night.
Yeah, it was your birthday.
Yes. So we didn't have any
feast planned.
Didn't want to ruin my appetite for the night, so we sat in McDonald's nursing these coffees, trying to use their awful Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
To download the essentials, which we did. It was fine. Then we had a bit of a walk around the shopping centre.
We did. Oh, they had that like pop-up advert thing just outside the shopping centre.
Yes.
What was that for? I want to say War of the Worlds, but it's not.
I think it was War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was. So we came, there's a big square outside of the shopping centre in Helsinki, and at first we saw like a car crash. It was like a crashed car.
Damn.
And there was a barrier up.
Yeah.
Like a police tape sort of thing, and there was an armoured vehicle. You know, what's happening here?
People in army gear walking around. As well.
And science gear, like the hazmat suits. Yeah. And then, okay, something's. I think at that when you start seeing hazmat suits and armed personnel, I was like, there's not enough of a fuss around here for this to be something. This is like street art.
Something happened.
But they mocked it up to look like a huge impact crater was in the ground and ripped up the concrete, and it had torn through vehicles, and there was a glow coming from it. And I think we couldn't figure out what it was for.
No.
But then on the side of the building was like an animated billboard, and every so often it advertised War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
So,
that must be
this. But I remember we were sort of looking at it, because it was all very well done.
Yeah.
And I remember I stood looking at it, and there was like a little old lady talking to one of the army guys. I'm like, how much in character does that guy have to stay?
Man, I need you to go home.
You need to step back. And it's like pointing guns at
That was kind of surreal.
That was pretty, like, you think, you said, oh, that's a car crash or something. Oh, no, it's
exactly.
But then we went back the next day, and it was gone.
And it was gone, completely
gone. There was nothing there. Because we told Tani and Pete about it.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll show you tomorrow when you come with us. And like, oh, it's gone.
I swear it was there. It was real, I promise.
Maybe it was a conspiracy. My word. So anyway, yeah, we went back to the Airbnb, had dinner.
Yeah.
Next day, Tiny and Pete came with us because we were going... Where were we going?
To Suomenlinna.
Suomenlinna.
The island fortress.
Yes.
Fortress Island.
Yes.
Yes.
So we drove to the same train station,
got
the same tickets, made the same journey. And of course we had the public transport tickets, which applied for metro trains and the ferries.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to worry about that. I think the ferries were every hour or something. Or every half an hour?
Every half an hour.
Every half an hour. We luckily got there just as one was about to disembark.
Yeah.
And you just run on with your ticket, boop.
Yeah.
You're on.
Boop.
It was about a 20-minute crossing.
Yeah, quite picturesque, quite nice.
Yeah, well, luckily the weather had drastically changed from when we were in Fisk. It was bright sunshine, almost painfully so.
What?
Because the sun's quite low,
okay.
And you're going over water, so it's just bouncing up in your eyes. And then you go into a fortress island. Oh, look at the view out there. I can't. My retinas are damaged.
Okay.
The Suomenlinna, so it used to be a fortress. And now it was just made up of a lot of the buildings are now museums.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Which you did have to pay extra to get inside.
To get into, yeah. There's one main museum in the middle of the island, and you did have to pay to get in there. But as you say, there are just a few things dotted around, and again, a bit like Fiskars, they've kept it mostly as it was.
Yes.
And it is still in use. I'm pretty sure people live there.
Yeah, I think people lived there. There were little cafes. Because there were people just selling bags of wood for burning, as I recall. But they had walking routes, signposts all around there.
Yeah.
And everywhere has information signs, so you can get a bit of an idea of the history of the place. Luckily, we had the perfect day for such a thing.
But I will say it's a lot bigger than it seems.
Yes,
because
yes.
The ferries obviously stop and go from the same point, and there's only one way round the island.
Yeah.
Once you've got down to the furthest point, you've then got to come all the way back again.
I see what you mean, yeah.
It's not a simple just walk around the island and end up back at the ferry point kind of a situation.
Yeah, it's not so much a loop, is it?
No.
It's kind of like when you go out and then you come back.
Come back, exactly. Yeah. And it is a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah.
Very, very pretty.
Yes.
I remember one of the governor's houses or one of the general's houses. It's now a restaurant.
Okay.
But that's the one that had the pond outside it and quite lavish gardens.
Oh yes.
That was really cool. Yeah. I remember that. There was also in the middle, one of the squares near the cannons.
Okay.
Maybe a monument to Louis.
The memorial sculpture. It was almost like a like a sarcophagus sort of thing.
Yeah.
Was that the architect?
One of the Louis. No, it was the king who not commissioned it, but it was dedicated to a king.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So long ago. I remember it, but I can't remember who it was to. Yeah, that was just a good... Again, Europe during the off-season, it was fairly quiet.
Yeah.
There were not many people around.
No.
So you could just sort of get lost in it and take your time reading all the signs and everything else.
Exactly.
But then we were hungry.
Yes.
We had a bit of a hunger on. So we got the ferry back to the mainland. And then you'd found an all-you-can-eat buffet, hadn't you?
Yeah. So as I do with most cities we go to, and we try and have food in as many countries as possible to try a little bit of the cuisine. I tend to just Google cheap eats in whichever city we're going to and find something which sells traditional/local food.
Yes.
So I'd found this place which was in... so it's called the Ravintola Factory, but it's actually in the Alexi. Like, Alexi's a department store.
Yes.
So it's at the top of that department store.
Yeah.
In the middle of Helsinki. And it was really cheap.
Especially looking at the department store.
Yeah.
The lift we got in.
Yeah.
The glass lift, which went past several expensive looking shops. And then you're on the top floor.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like €10 each?
10 euros.
And that everything.
Yep.
My word. I can't even begin. So long ago, I can't really go in and remember all the food we had. But there was like three or four different options.
Yeah.
For each
part
of the meal. Yes.
No, the one thing that I do remember, which we all absolutely loved and still sticks out in my brain, is the beetroot cheesecake, which isn't a dessert. Funnily enough. Okay. But that was amazing. I remember us getting there and we were just in time before they closed.
Yes, they were. Yes.
Yeah. So we were all just like, right, okay, let's go, let's do this. And we were all hungry.
Yeah.
Filled up our plates, sat down, and we were like, oh my god, like this is so much food.
So, well, there's more over there we haven't tried yet. So okay, right, let's go. Let's eat this before our body realises we're not hungry anymore.
But it was such good food.
It was. It
was really good food.
If and hopefully when we end up in Helsinki again, I'll still happily go there.
Oh yeah.
Because it was all, well, largely all Russian Finnish food.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a simple deal, wasn't it? You went up to the counter, paid your 10 euros.
Yep.
And then were given a plate?
No, that's it.
Is that it? Okay.
You get your receipt and then you go and dig in.
And then that price includes drinks, like the drinks that are available there as well.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Wasn't much in the way of drinks. I think it was just coffee or water, basically.
Yeah.
From what I remember. But yeah, it's definitely a good show. Unfortunately, then we had to do a bit more walking, which is more of a waddle at this point. Luckily, there was a lift, so we didn't roll down the stairs. And unfortunately, again, it was coming to the hours of night.
Well, it's winter.
It is
That's
winter.
The thing. It's winter in Scandinavia.
Yeah.
So.
But we had a bit of a walk around Senate Square.
Yeah.
And then we went to the shopping centre again, because I think, was it Tiny Loves Moomins?
Yeah.
And
they have the Moomin shop.
Yeah, there's a Moomin shop. No, I've not seen any references to the Moomins since like Saturday morning cartoons they used to be when I was little. And now there's a whole shop of them in Finland.
The Moomins are Finnish.
But they must be.
So,
yeah. And there were some other things in the squares. There's quite a few big streets around there, because there's a city. There's big streets in the city. But they had also, there was one, I think it was a monument to when they had to move a monument during one of the wars.
Okay.
There was a big crate.
Oh yeah.
That had been set up.
The one that you're like walking past and it was booming.
Yeah, it was playing noise from it. I think it's because they moved some monuments during the war. I'm probably getting that completely wrong, and I apologise if I am. With the life, I've literally just thought of that. I just remembered it.
I was channeling those waves to you.
Yes.
There you go.
But yeah, then we got the train back. Drove back to the Airbnb for our final night in there. And then the following day...
You missed out for heaters.
Did I miss out for heaters?
You missed out for heaters just now. No,
the day before.
The night before.
I've missed them either way. But do you really want to sit and talk about the heaters?
No, it's okay.
No?
Carry on.
Well, they were very nice. I was very grateful for the fact you managed to make fajitas on... Yeah, you actually had less facilities at your disposal than you did in the van. Because you just had an electric hot plate on which to cook chicken.
And tiny pots as well. And
yeah,
I was like, I'm going to feed 4 people.
That was not a well-equipped kitchen, unfortunately. But then we found out as we were leaving that we were the first people to stay in that Airbnb.
Yeah, exactly. Cheeky.
Remember, like, oh, you have a kitchen and a sauna. Oh, great. Right. The kitchen is under-equipped and the sauna is not ready for use yet.
No.
Don't use it. Oh, great. So it was just somewhere for Dargo to go in. But we didn't want it to, yeah. But no, it suited us. It was a nice little bit of a break. And it was useful because we had left the tap running slightly in the van in an attempt to stop the pipes freezing.
Yeah.
This did not work.
No.
It just created an ice spike, stalagmite, stalactite, not sure, going from the tap to the sink.
And then
all
from
the way
the
down.
pipe at the bottom on the outside to the floor.
Yes. Well, luckily it was only... See, as you open our van door, you have the back of the sink where all the pipes run up. And luckily it was only those bits that were frozen.
Yeah.
Interestingly. So the pipes under the van hadn't frozen up, and neither had the pump. So it didn't take too much... Well, it took a lot less than it could have been.
Yeah.
To defrost them. And luckily all our water pipes are just made out of garden hose.
Yeah.
So there was no worries of the ice expanding and
cracking.
With copper pipes, then you've got a potential issue. So we just got a lot of hot water and rags, and we disconnected them and then just started rubbing them. Just constantly hot, wet rags just to defrost them, and then just squeeze them out like toothpaste coming out of a tube.
Yeah.
To get it running again, and luckily that did the trick. And it didn't take us too long to do.
Nope.
In the grand scheme of things. And then we all packed up, and we just had another day of driving, didn't we, out to Kotka.
Yeah, which was a nice stop again. Yeah,
well, that was down. There's a public beach, which isn't much of a beach. It's just where the sea meets the land. I suppose that is what a beach is, but it's. There's an actual public park as well, just outside of the city, which is nice and quiet.
Yeah.
Which is our last night before we had to cross the border into Russia. Luckily, it wasn't too cold that night. I think it was in Russia when we really figured out how to deal with heat.
Yeah.
In the van, how to keep the heat in the van.
Yeah.
But this one, we were anxious about the crossing. We won't talk about the crossing on this episode because that's part of the Russian episode. But after the experience we'd had in Norway, where the guy had gone through everything, we were thinking, well, we were planning, we'll get up early, we will pack the bed away so that you can get in all the cupboards and drawers straight away without any problems. Let's have all the paperwork out, everything else.
Well, we had more paperwork and everything to consider, and this was our first hard border.
Yes, this is the first time we were expecting.
Yeah.
And we were trying to look up any information we could. Turns out we were going through one of the less used borders. Yeah. So there's very little anecdotal.
Yeah, there's like no information out there about it.
Because other borders you have to book times.
Because they're that busy.
Yeah. So we thought, do we have to do any of this? And yeah, that was an uneasy night's sleep.
It was.
I think.
It was.
The cold didn't help. But then the next morning we woke up. I think we even went so far as to clean the van a little bit.
We did, of course we did. I clean the van every time before we do a border crossing.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to have, somebody search your van, but it's also another thing to have a dirty van for somebody to search.
Yeah, it does set, not a precedent, but someone you look at a dirty van more negatively than you do a clean van.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. That was our stop in Finland. Then we just drove from Kotka to the nearest border. I can't remember where it is. No, I can't remember the name of the place. Just out there. Yeah, out that way. Yeah. We were a little bit cheeky though. Do you remember? Because we needed fuel. Yeah. We needed fuel. We knew that the prices would be a hell of a lot cheaper in Russia. Oh yes. So we just went to the nearest petrol station and just put a little bit in. Just enough to get us to Russia. Yeah. Because I think we normally cost us around €60 to fill the tank up. Our petrol tank. In Scandinavia, diesel tank, yeah. But €60, I thought we'll just put 15 in. Just enough. Just a little bit. We'll get it cheaper. Just in case. And it was cheaper. It was a hell of a lot cheaper. But you won't find out really how much until next episode. Until next time. Yes. But next time the little hook. Yes, but we will be going into full detail about crossing into Russia, because we wrote all that down. Yeah. Because we couldn't find the resources to cross it, so we want to provide that to other people. So that's documented. But that is all next episode. And if there was nothing else in Finland, was there, that we did? Again, it was a short trip because we had our visas for Russia. Yeah. And especially after seeing all the pipes freezing up, so we need to start getting south. I think that was the main thing. So we would have done more in Finland. Yes. Especially with people coming out. Well, we wanted to go up to Lapland, didn't we? Exactly. But
by the time we were getting closer to Finland and with the temperatures already getting cold,
yes,
we were kind of like, there's no way that we can make it to Lapland.
No.
Without getting stuck.
Yes.
Or, you know...
And we didn't have snow chains or winter tyres at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, again, Lapland is one of those places...
Which has eluded us.
Like all of Scandinavia, really. I think we just went to Scandinavia under the wrong circumstances.
Yeah,
we had to rush through. We spent more time in Sweden, but that's only because we got robbed and had to spend a couple of days there. And because you have to cross it... Twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just gives us more places to go back.
Exactly. We'll just call this reconnaissance. It's fine.
Yes. So yeah, that's it for Finland. Thank you very much for listening. We've been watching the statistics. We're getting more and more listeners recently.
I know, it's quite exciting.
It is quite exciting. Thank you very much for tuning in and giving us a listen. Thank you even more if you've come still with us, if you worked your way through it.
Yeah, no, very well done if you're still
Very
here.
well done if you're still putting up with us. But please do leave a rating or review on, even if, you know, just please leave a rating or review.
Yeah.
It does help. It exposes us to more people, get more people in. Our hope is the more people listen, the more people can correct us, and the more correctly informative we can be in the future. It's like Wikipedia, but audio.
But with the two of us.
With less citations.
With more, if I remember correctly.
Yes. If you have been listening on a podcast service, every episode of this is also available along with weekly video diaries on our YouTube channel. We still don't have enough subscribers yet for our own URL, but if you search for Catavan or Catavan UK, or even for CatavanCast, you will find us on there. Likewise, if you have been listening on YouTube, we are available on any podcast service you care to choose. On the YouTube, video diaries go up every Sunday, and on the podcast go out everywhere every Wednesday. Please do get in touch with us about any mistakes we've made. I imagine there's quite a few on this one. Hopefully we haven't caused any offence with our
I really hope we
misinformation.
We don't mean
to. With any corrections, anything we missed, any suggestions or any questions about what we've covered or what we're going to cover, you can leave us a comment on YouTube, or you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, where we are at Catavan UK. Or you can also email us directly at catavanuk@gmail.com. Finally, Redbubble.
Yes.
You've been working on that today, haven't you?
I have, indeed. And I have a feeling that we've been getting a little bit of traffic through our podcasts.
You reckon?
Yes, because we've increased numbers from the US and Australia.
Oh, there you go.
So
you've been selling a few masks recently.
Yes, my monk parakeet masks are doing quite well.
Yes.
I'm kind of happy.
If it was you who purchased one of them, please let us know.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear.
If you've got Instagram, tag hashtag Catavan in it.
Yes.
And then I'll keep an eye and look out for it. That'd be kind of cool.
Where was that taken? That was taken in Spain, wasn't it? Valencia?
Yes, that's Valencia.
So that's the Valencian monk parrot some people are walking around attached to their face with.
Attached to their face.
Well, got to stay safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Might as well look stylish while you're at it. And it helps us. We really do appreciate it because, it's...
100%.
Yes, we really do appreciate all the support.
Amazing.
And yeah, that's it for this week. Next week we'll be back talking about Russia.
Yes.
Which is, again, Russia. You say we barely touched Scandinavia.
Russia's like half the planet.
Yes, Russia. We went to St. Petersburg and a couple of little bits on the way.
We can't really claim to have done Russia.
No, if we had one of those scratch-off maps, I would feel bad about scratching off Russia. Because we literally just dipped our toe in the most European city of that country. And then came out again. But if you do have any questions about Russia, please do get in touch. Although we will be recording that tomorrow because we're taking full advantage of being in this setup.
But that's fine.
But we can address them at the next opportunity we can.
Yeah.
So that's it. I've been Ben.
I've been Frey. Dargo is still asleep in the same chair.
You almost can't see it because the chairs are the same colour.
I know. I look for the eyes. I look for the little beady eyes staring back at me.
So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Hopefully, yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.